Hi, I'm Daniel Bach, and I'm with Phillips Chevrolet in Frankfort, Illinois. And today's featured vehicle is the brand new 2011 Chevrolet Volt. Let's take a look, shall we? The Chevrolet Volt is the 2011 Motor Trend Car of the Year. It's won numerous awards, and Motor Trend's Car of the Year is actually one of the most prestigious. What I'd like to do today is give you a quick walk around on our brand new vehicle. What the best part is, very, very few of them in this area. As we move to the front of the vehicle, there's a couple unique features I'd like to show you guys today. First off, the wonderful Chevy emblem. We still haven't gotten away from that. What we've also done is we've actually closed off the grille itself, make it a little bit more aerodynamic. We also have some great styling with the wraparound lights. And my favorite part, we actually have sensors in the very front of the vehicle. A lot of GM vehicles are actually coming with the backup sensors now. They're actually putting these in the front to go along with what the Cadillac has done and a number of other vehicles on the GM line. They also have the molded hood to make it a little bit more stylish but yet aerodynamic at the same time, which allows this vehicle to get such great fuel economy. Now I'm going to show you the uniqueness of what is underneath the hood of the new Chevrolet Volt. Now the vehicle actually comes with a 1.4 liter engine. It's actually a similar engine to what we actually have in our Cruise, but it is not turbocharged. What the great part about this vehicle is, the majority of this vehicle is actually the battery itself. It's actually dividing the interior of the vehicle. A lot of the components are going to be in the front, and you know what, it's not really that great to look at, but honestly there's a lot of components right in here that actually does a lot for this vehicle. Of course you have your windshield wiper fluid in the front, also the other fluids, and of course your dipstick. As we move to the side of the vehicle, we have the 17-inch forged aluminum wheels, plus also you have a very unique tire. These are actually low-resistance tires, which makes the vehicle a lot more aerodynamic and allows the vehicle to still get that smooth ride, but yet still get the better fuel economy. We actually have these same tires on our Cruise Eco models, which also get great fuel economy. You also still have the turn signals in the mirrors themselves, just like we have in a number of our other vehicles in the Chevrolet lineup. Also have the great lines on the side. Plus also one thing I do want to show you is the gas cap bags actually on the passenger side. There actually is a button inside the vehicle, which I will demonstrate a little bit later. As we move around to the back of the vehicle, the Volt is in a sense a hatchback, but it's also got a lot of aerodynamic features in the back here with this nice fin back here, and also the styling in the back. One of the other things I want to show you today is it actually does have the backup sensors back here. Just like you have the sensors in the front, you do have the sensors in the back as well. We also have, way down here, we also have a backup camera. Great feature to have. It's standard on all of our vehicles for the Chevrolet Volt. What's nice, it even shows up in your navigation screen. So no more in the mirror, it's actually going to be in the navigation screen that comes with all of our Volts. And way down here, there is actually a little light. This is actually your backup light. No longer are they in the lights in the back itself, it's actually right down here. As we take a look on the inside, push the little button right back here, open it right on up. Fair amount of room right back here to put whatever you might need. These seats also fold down, which I will demonstrate in a little bit. And there's also a compartment right down here. You lift this little guy up right there. You have the opening for your battery pack in here. You also have your inflator kit, and there's also another battery in here as well. This battery is actually used generally for jump starting the vehicle and a few other minor things. The main battery is going to be within the entire vehicle itself. This is actually just going to be for those main purposes there. As we move to the driver's side of the vehicle, we have the charging port. Now, as I said before, you have a 1.4 liter four-cylinder engine, but that engine is actually an electric generator. The Volt is actually designed to be a half electric generator engine. The port right over here is where you would actually plug in your cord. What's beautiful about this vehicle, you can actually go 40 miles without using a single drop of gas. The way that it would happen, by charging your vehicle every night. They say it can actually cost anywhere between $1 and $2 just to charge your vehicle at night. So would you rather go to the gas station and spend $3 to $4 a gallon, or spend $2 to charge your car and go to work every day? The way this actually works, there's actually a button on the inside of the driver's door. Right in here. The electric port button is right here, and you have your gas port button right on the inside. As I showed you before, we have the gas cap over there. It's no longer a push button. The button is actually sitting over here. Now to open this little guy, we're going to push this little button. Just like that. And from there, you can plug in your electric port. Now we're going to take a look at some of the vehicle's features on the interior of the vehicle. What's great about the Volt is it actually acknowledges that there is somebody in the vehicle and that it's ready to be turned on. But before I do that, I do want to go through some of the simple features on the vehicle, and then we'll turn her on and go through some of the other more complex and new features on the Volt. To start, we're going to take a peek at just what's in the door. Of course, you will have your power windows. Your power windows will do for all 4 windows, plus also your power mirrors in the front, and also your child safety lock and window locks. What's great about this is no longer do you have to put your little key in the door or switch a knob in the door itself. You can push this button right here and it will remotely lock the back doors and also lock all of the windows so that the only controls that are able to be used are the ones right here in the driver's door. And as I showed you before, you do have your gas cap unlock and also your electric port unlock in the door itself. Moving on to the steering wheel. The steering wheel should actually look quite familiar to some of our Chevrolet fans. This is actually very similar to our Chevrolet Cruise steering wheel. A lot of the features are actually similar throughout the entire Chevrolet line as well. On the left side, you will have your cruise control. Pretty simple to be used. You have the main switch on the interior. Push that little switch up. This symbol will actually show up in your screen itself to let you know that the cruise control is ready to be activated. From there, once you get to your desired speed, you can roll the little middle knob down to actually set it, or you can actually resume it as well. What's even better, because everything is digital in this vehicle, you can actually set it to your exact desired speed. So if you wanted to go 67 miles an hour, you can set it for 67 miles an hour. The button on the far left is going to be the cancellation of the cruise. All you have to do is just push that button. It'll be the same thing like pushing your brakes. It'll cancel it, and then again you can slide the little resume button up and get yourself going again. On the opposite side of the steering wheel, we do have similar features that you've seen on a number of our other Chevrolet models. You have your volume controls, turn up and down the volume. Great for the radio and also for your hands-free calling, and even your OnStar. In the middle, you have your radio controls. These are great for when you have your favorite stations programmed in. You can roll up and down the knob right here, just like you did for the cruise control. You can also push the button in to change it from AM, FM, XM, and even if you have something plugged into your auxiliary ports or USB port. On the interior, you actually have your hands-free calling. Now again, you can actually link your telephone up to this vehicle through the Bluetooth. So no longer do you have to sit and talk on your phone. You can actually link your telephone up to the vehicle itself and use the speakers in the vehicle and these little microphones right up here to actually talk to your friends and family. You can even mute the radio or actually hang up on the call as well from those buttons as well. Some other features on the steering wheel. It's actually a tilt and telescopic steering wheel. So not only does it go up and down, it also goes in and out. It gives you a little bit more range in how you like to use your arms on the steering. Next thing I'd like to show you guys, actually right here in our armrest. Open this little guy up right here. On the left side here, you have your 12-volt adapter, so you can plug in your cell phone or maybe a portable audio device. Over here, you have your USB port, so you can plug in your iPod or iPhone or even a memory stick. And even right over here, you have an auxiliary port as well that you can plug in an MP3 player that uses that style of cord. Even better, when you do plug in something through these 2 ports, you can actually use those controls on the steering wheel that I just went through. You can actually play those music through the speakers in the vehicle and use these controls to control the sound and the song that you might be listening to. And now the moment that you've all been waiting for, I'm actually going to turn on the Volt. Now the nice part about the vehicle here, I've got the key here in my hand, but there's no port to actually put the key in. It's all done remotely. The way you actually do it, you put your foot on the brake here, you actually push the magic power button right here. Now again, the Volt actually acknowledges that it's on. That's what that loud noise was just a moment ago. But the nice part is, you don't really hear too much because it's all being ran on electric power. so you do not hear the gas engine firing up. The only time that gas engine will actually turn on is when you actually run out of battery power on the vehicle. You actually have that monitor right here on the left side of your main portion right here of the driver information center. Now it says that we have 29 miles. 29 miles we can drive without using a single drop of gasoline. I'm going to go through a little bit more about the driver information center with you. Now you do have your gas range on the top left corner. You have your compass, your gear that you are in, your digital speed. One of the nicer parts on the right side, you actually have your acceleration and your braking. So it'll actually let you know when you are using your brakes or when you're using the gas, and how that is affecting the vehicle itself. The bottom right, you do have your odometer. And in the bottom left, you have your total range combined of your electric and gas mileage. Now, right in the very bottom of the screen, you have your other features for the driver information center. Now, that is actually controlled in this little left section right over here, if you can get into that. Now, what you would actually do, depending on what you're actually looking for, you push the select button right here, and there it is. There's our trip A right there. You can actually go through all the different things just by turning the little knob right on the side. You have your trip A and trip B, your oil life, your tire pressure monitor, your messages that your vehicle will actually send on over to you, your units for the vehicle if you wanted to change it from miles per hour to kilometers per hour. It actually has a tutorial on the vehicle itself within it as well. And back to your trip A. Now what you can do, you can actually configure by pushing this little button right on over here, your driver information center here. But what that does, it actually puts your fuel range where your acceleration was. So it no longer is in the top left corner, it's actually sitting right in the right. Push it again, it'll go right back the way it was. And if you hit the back button right below it, there goes away the driver portion of the driver information center. Now moving on to our main navigation screen up here. You do have your date. Yes, today is Tuesday, March 29th, 2011. It is 37 degrees outside, and yes, I was not wearing a coat. And it is 10:34. Now, to actually turn all of this on, we're going to push the smaller round knob right in the middle. And push that, and it'll turn it right on. Now, you do have your regular radio screen. This is going to be the same screen that you would see on your Equinox or your Cruise. Now, the way this all is designed actually keeps it all pretty simple. Now, a lot of the times you're going to be looking for that actual button that you're going to be pushing. Now, the way this actually works, it's going to be similar to your smartphones. What you would actually do is just push whatever thing that you might be looking for. Like if we're looking for the radio band button, I just push that. And I can change it from AM, FM, and XM. The same style as the buttons that you would have in your regular Chevrolet vehicles, just with a little bit more of a familiar touch. Now, again, this is a touchscreen as well. So if you didn't want to listen to this station, you can actually push one of the buttons right down there, and there it is for you. Now, built in through the entire system, you have your hot and cold on the left side. You have your fan on the right side. And yes, with the wonderful leather inside the car, we do have heated seats for the driver and passenger. Now, for your climate controls, you can actually push the climate button, and you will have everything right at your fingertips. So you can tell exactly where you want your vents to be at, your heated seats, your fan, and anything else that you might want in the vehicle. Front and rear defrost buttons you do have up here as well. But again, you do have these built in through here as well. Moving on, we have your radio buttons right down here. You do have your radio band button, your fave button just like normal, your HDD DVD auxiliary button, just in case you have something plugged in, again in your armrest for the USB or the auxiliary port, and your configure and tone buttons as well. The big button is just like they are in the other vehicles, but it's actually that little knob on the side. This is to allow you to go through all the different stations you might have built in through your XM or any other radio system. And by pushing the menu button, it'll select it for you. Moving down, these are going to be everything for your navigation screen. So if we push the nav button in the bottom left corner, you can actually split it up so you've got the full half navigation, half radio, or even push the full map button, and there's everything for you. Now, if you wanted to, you can actually even set your own destinations inside the vehicle, and even push the info button right down below it to see exactly what the temperature is outside, the wind, and everything else for the car. On the opposite side, you do have your other controls for the playing and pausing, and also for hands-free calling as well. Plus, you also have your record button on here as well, if you ever wanted to record some songs from the radio itself. Now, these buttons on the sides I'm going to go through right now. Yes, just like in your Equinox, your Camaro, your Cruze, and a lot of the other vehicles that you're going to be seeing soon from Chevrolet, you have your lock and unlock buttons right on the inside towards the middle of the vehicle. We're locking the doors right there right now. Rather than being in the doors and bumping it while you're hopping out and you forget your keys and your cell phone inside the car, now everything's going to be centralized. On the opposite side, we have the magic leaf button. By pushing that, actually give you a little bit more about our Volt itself. Now, if we were going to be driving, you can actually see these wheels moving. You can actually see how the battery is actually being influenced, whether you're going to be charging it a little bit or even if you're going to be using the energy from the vehicle. When you're charging, it'll give you a little bit of information. So if we were to plug the vehicle in right now, or the last time it was completed, it'll give you a little bit more information on the energy for itself. So whatever you might be using, and again, if we were using our heated seats or the fan itself, it'll actually tell you, hey, this is what I'm using. This is why you're draining me. It'll even give you a couple extra tips on how to make yourself a little bit more energy efficient and using more of the battery and not having to cost yourself so much. Now the drive mode, by pushing that button, that actually comes up in your driver information center. It's got a couple different modes. You have your normal mode. Obviously, that's just going to be when you're driving around town and going back and forth to work. You have a sport mode, which gives it a little bit more giddy up, and also a mountain mode. The mountain mode is generally used, obviously, when you're in the mountains. Allow the vehicle to shift a little bit better, so that way you're not going to be in the 6th gear while you're going downhill. Or going uphill, you're not going to be using so much more effort inside the vehicle. You do have your parking brake right on over here. No longer do you have that little shift lever. It's actually just a little button right here that'll activate everything right inside the vehicle. And now we're actually in park. You have your gear shift lever down here. And your power button. As always, our Chevrolets come with OnStar. Now, what's even better about our OnStar here, you actually get 5 years of service. 5 years! No longer do you get the 6 months. You get 5 years of service with our OnStar on the Chevrolet Volt. Those buttons are built in right up here. No longer are they on your mirror. They're actually built up here. You have your regular blue OnStar button, your emergency button, and your phone button for hands-free calling. Now, just behind it, you actually have your universal home remote. You can actually link your garage door up to your Volt. And the bigger button right on over here is for your backup sensors. You can actually turn those off if you ever need to. Just in case you get a little bit more annoyed by them, you can turn them off. A little bit lower, you do have your light controls and also your dome light. And again, you have a passenger pressurized airbag. So if there was somebody sitting there, you would actually know that they might not be wearing their seatbelt. As I was saying before, the battery is the heart of the Volts. It actually is flowing throughout the entire center of the vehicle. That is why you have the bucket seats in the front and the bucket seats in the back with the divider right here. This is actually the case and the covering for the actual battery itself. And as I had showed you before on our power flow chart, you can actually see how it actually is built in throughout the entire core of the vehicle. I'm Daniel Bacher, and I hope you've enjoyed the presentation of the brand new 2011 Chevrolet Volt. The only one in Illinois is at Phillips Chevrolet, so come on down and take it for a test drive. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you guys soon.